Hi, free spirit beaters. Let me back up a little bit. How are you guys today? This is Kristen Fagan here with your host of Free Spirit Beading here on the Softlex Company YouTube channel, Monday mornings at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Thank you for being here today. I'm excited to share with you a new project I've been working on. I did a lot of research and development on this project last week and over the weekend to get it right. Hello, hi Softlex. Hi Mary, welcome, welcome. Good to see you. Hello from Missouri, Kathy. Hi Lydia. You guys see me on my screen back here? That's how I see your comments when once I start beading. It's a little harder to see them on the phone, so I have a computer set up next to me to try and catch them. So I don't miss what you guys have to say when I'm working. So today we're gonna work with the square Kumihimo plate. I love the square Kumihimo. I love the flat braid it makes, and I've shown it to you guys. I think I've shown it with beads down the sides of a bracelet, and I'm going to show you today with beads down the center of the bracelet. So I'm pretty excited about that one. This is the example of the beads down the side video that I did earlier, I think towards the end of last year. And this one is using, we're kind of actually going to use similar colors to this one today. This one's using tanzanite, garnet, and dark blue lapis. Hi, Karen. Yeah, I'm so glad you got to catch me live today. We had the clocks change back, and so I'm here an hour earlier for myself because I'm in Arizona and we don't change the clocks here. So I've been coming to you guys around noon my time, and now today I'm here at 11. I'm glad I got myself together an hour earlier. I was a little nervous, but I'm here. I'm glad you guys made it. And let's talk Kumihimo. I'm gonna turn you guys down to my table and get going. I have an example I've been working on. Trying not to hit any buttons. Okay. Can you guys see that okay? Orientation is locked. What does that mean? Oh, it looks like you can see. For some reason, my screen went locked, but I can see your comments on my computer. Kathy's saying, you're wearing the Softlex necklace you made the other day. I am. I'm wearing the example that started that design that I shared last week. Thanks for noticing, Kathy. Okay, so it looks like my screen is all right on the computer. I just have it given me a little lock on my phone. So I'm gonna move forward. I can see, Karen says, I can see your hands move. Yeah, okay, perfect. So this is my example that I've been working on this weekend. I used the colors from the Serenity trios. I'm using green turquoise and fluorite Softlex beading wire from the Serenity trios. And so that's what these two look like in the spool. I'm almost out of green turquoise, as you can see. I just ordered some more. And then this is the fluorite color, which is really a soft minty green, I guess. And with the green turquoise, it's a very subtle change in color, but I think it's pretty. It kind of feels very beachy and mermaid-esque to me. And then I'm using square, 4mm square seed beads, or cube seed beads. Softlex Company, Damien is here helping us share some links to products. So thank you for sharing the trios link. Today I'm going to be working with the Bloom Trios, which is this gorgeous combination of tanzanite, garnet, and pink tourmaline. I'm just going to be using these two today, the garnet and the tanzanite. Super pretty. So that is the Bloom Trios. And here's our Kumihimo plate. We're going to go through our materials for a second here. So we've got the square Kumihimo plate. These are a little container of the 4mm cubed beads. Kathy is asking, do the trios come in larger spools? Currently, they do not. Currently, they just come in the 10-foot. So you have to, if you like a combination of colors, like if you like this grouping, you can always go and buy 3 30-foot spools of each of the colors in the Softlex wire item online. But we don't group them in anything larger than 10-foot spools yet. We've had a few requests, so maybe that's something that will come down the line at some point. Thanks for asking, Kathy. I've got a little tape measure here, or you can have a ruler. I've got my flush cutters. I'm using the Softlex Professional Flush Cutters. And I have my magical crimping pliers and my mighty crimping pliers, as we're going to be using those large 3x3 crimps with this design. And I've got those up here. So I've got some large 3x3mm crimp tubes, and I've got my 2x2mm crimp tubes that you use with the magical crimping pliers. I also have lobster clasps here. I have one copper heart one, and I have one silver lobster clasp. I need some more copper. This is the last of my little copper clasps I've got. I have a Kumihimo weight, which I'm going to use to help with my tension. You can pick up a Kumihimo weight a lot of places wherever Kumihimo boards are sold. We don't sell one of these at Softlex Company. If you don't have one of these, you can always use one of our bead stoppers and clip that on to your end of your wires for some tension. It's not quite as heavy as your weight is going to be, but it will give you at least a little bit of weight for your tension. And I think I got to everything. Yeah, okay, cool. So let me move this out of the way. So like I said, the video we're doing today, we're gonna do beads down the center. If you want to see this with beads down the sides, this is the video I've done previously on the free Spirit Beading series. You can find that we have a playlist of all the free Spirit Beading videos. We also have a playlist of all Kumihimo videos. So if you want to see all of our Kumihimo videos at once, you can do that. Karen is saying, on fiber we use large fishing weights. I tie them on, so not sure how you would attach the wire, but they are cheap, a couple of dollars at Walmart in the fish tackling area. Yeah, maybe if you have some extra crimps or and you want to crimp it on to the fishing weight, that might work. You cannot Softlex wire, but when there's so many of them, I have a feeling it would slip. Because this Kumihimo weight just has a little like claw clasp, I can just clamp it onto the wires, and that works really well. I'm just gonna move my tools out of my way. And so like I said, I'm using the Bloom Trios. I'm gonna be cutting, this has the tanzanite, the garnet, and the pink tourmaline colors. I'm gonna be cutting 18 inches per strand, and we're gonna be using 10 strands. So that is 5 strands of the tanzanite, 18 inches a piece, and 5 strands of the garnet 18 inches a piece. So in total, we're going to use about 15 feet of wire, 7.5 feet per color. So if you do buy a trios, you are able to make this project. So here I've already cut 5 strands of my garnet. Make sure I pick up all of them. And I cut 5 strands of my tanzanite. So I have a total of 10 strands, and they are 18 inches a piece. I'm just gonna kind of line them up. It doesn't matter how you crimp these, but I'm gonna take my large 3 by 3 millimeter Softflex Company crimp tube, and I'm gonna slide it over all of these wires. Get all of them in there. And then I'm gonna go down about 2.5 to 3 inches. This is the wire here that you're gonna use to attach to your clasp. So just leave yourself enough space that you feel comfortable attaching the end to a clasp. So I'm picking up my Mighty Crimper, and I'm just gonna slide my crimp. So if you look at the Mighty Crimper, there's 2 notches. There's the back notch and the forward notch, just like your regular crimper. You're gonna slide that crimp into the back notch, just like so. Let me get a little closer. Give it a squeeze. It's gonna make a divot, just like that. You're gonna take your divot, and I like to face my divot outwards and then place the crimp in the top notch. So as you see, my little divot is facing out. Give it a squeeze, and then you just go around the rounder a couple times. Just pump and squeeze. Really get that crimp in there. And for some reason, I've never done this before, where I just added a crimp right at the start. I've always struggled with putting all these wires in a bead stopper and then hanging them from my Kumihimo weight. And as I was doing my research this past weekend and doing a bunch of these to get my sizing correct, I did this on one of them, and it was like, aha, like why hadn't I done that before? Because it's so much more secure having all these wires just crimped right from the start than to be working with them sliding out of a bead stopper. When you have so many wires, they can slide out a little bit more easily than they normally would. Normally I wouldn't have problems with them sliding at all. Okay, so once you have them all crimped, I'm gonna stick them down the center of my Kumihimo plate. And I'm gonna attach my Kumihimo weight down here, and that will hold my tension. And then I'm gonna set up my plate. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna set it up between 3 and 8 along the top. So there's 6 strands along the top, and 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, yeah, and 4 strands along the bottom. So 14 to 17 along the bottom. And I think I'm going to, let me move these. It doesn't really matter where you put the colors because they all intertwine anyway, but I think I'm gonna put one color on the left side and one color on the right side, just to make the start of this visually a little bit easier for you guys. And in some patterns, it does matter where you set up your colors. If you're trying to make a pattern specific where maybe your colors are, oh, my little setup is moving a bit. creating a chevron pattern or an arrow or something along those lines, then the color setup makes a difference. But for this pattern, we just can put them anywhere. And like I said, I'm doing all garnet on this left side and all tanzanite on the right side, just to make it a little easier for you guys to see what I'm doing in the beginning. Let me make just tidying up my area. Okay, for the purposes of this pattern, 3, 4, 5, 14, and 15 are considered the left side of the plate, and 6, 7, 8, 16, and 17 are considered the right side of this plate. We are going to start by taking number 5 right here in the center, and we're going to cross it over to lowercase e. So we've got all lowercase letters on the right side and all capital letters on the left. We're going to take number 6 and we're going to move that one to capital E. And now we're going to start from the right side and we're going to complete half the pattern. So we're going to take 16 up to 6 and 7, then one next to it, back down to 16. We'll take 17 up to 7 and 8 down to 17, and then we'll take this one on the lowercase e up to number 8. So we've completed half the pattern on the right side. Hello, Liz from Tucson. I'm glad you were able to make it here live. We're just working on a flat braided Kumihimo. I'm just about to work on the left side. So we're gonna take number 15 down here, and we're gonna move it up to number 5. We're gonna take 4, move it down to 15, 14 up to 4, and 3 down to 14. And then we'll take our capital E to number 3. And now we're going to repeat that. That was just a finished braid from start to finish. We started with the 5 going here, the 6 going here, and now I've completed the entire braid. So we're going to repeat that braid 5 more times for a total of 6 complete braids before we add beads. So again, we'll start right from the beginning. We're going to take 5 over to lowercase e, take 6 to capital E. And now we'll go down here from 16. We're going to put it in that 6 spot. We're working now on the right side. 7 down to 16, 17 to 7, 8 to 17, lowercase e to 8. And now we're going to work on the left side. 15 up to 5, 4 down to 15, 14 to 4, and 3 down to 14, capital E over 2, 3. So now I have 2 complete braids. We're going to do 4 more. So 5 to little e, 6 to capital E starts us off. And now I'll just do that the right side again. I'm just going to speed up here so that we can get the 6 braids done, and then we will add in our beads. actually gonna see about moving my bead mat out of your vision. I moved up my camera a little bit. Maybe that's better. It's not as distracting. I do like my bead mat nearby for when I'm about to add my beads though, because my beads like to run away. Anyone else have that problem where their beads like to run away? I will say, because I'm working at a table, my Kumihimo weight is not able to kind of just hang and dangle nice and freely, which is what you want. So I am noticing my tension here is not where I really want it to be, and that's because my Kumihimo weight's just sitting here. If I was doing this not on camera, I would have this more towards my lap so that this part can hang freely. I just figured I'd point that out. Because when it hangs freely, that's when it's really giving you your tension on your wire. I think this is my last braid. We're gonna say that it is. So that's my last braid without beads. And now I'm just gonna tug on my wires, kind of get that braid into the middle a bit, tug on all my wires in each direction. Liz says all the time, yeah, my beads just love to roll away. They're all over my floor. All right, so now we're gonna add our beads. And remember, this is our example. So here we have our 6 braids from the crimp. And now we're going to start adding in the cube beads in the center. The vacuum loves my beads. Yes, mine too. Mine too. So we are now going to add our beads. We're going to add them on our middle strands, 5 and 6. So what we're going to do here is I've got 5 in my hand. Oh, I need to get my beads. So I've got strand 5 here in my hands. And I'm gonna feed it from left to right through my cube bead. And then I'm gonna pick up strand number 6 and I'm gonna feed it right to left. And then you can pull those 2 down just like that. And now your bead is in the center and your number 6 wire is coming through the bead and out to capital E. And your number 5 wire is going through the bead to the right and coming out to lowercase e. So now once you have those in place, you're going to just continue like you did all the other patterns. You're going to use 16 up to 6, 7 to 16, 17 to 7, 8 to 17, and then little e goes home to 8. And now we're going to flip it and do the same thing on the left side. 15 to 5, 4 to 15, 14 to 4, 3 to 14, and E comes back up here. And now we're back at our beginning again. And here I just like to kind of reposition my wires, make sure they're all about the same tension and distance from one another. And now I'm going to add another bead. So I'm going to pick up strand 5 and I'm going to string it on from left to right. And then I'm going to pick up strand 6 and I'm going to string it through from right to left. And then you tug on those wires, pull it down to your center, and then you're going to put that one onto the capital, that one onto the lowercase e. And then I may just kind of look at my beads and fidget with them a little bit, because if they were like this, I just want to bump it and line it up. And then again, we just continue 16 to 6, 7 to 16, 17 to 7, 8 to 17, lowercase e to 8, 15 to 5, 4 to 15, 14 to 4, 3 to 14, capital 2, 3. And we're right back here once again. We pick up number 5, go in left to right, pick up number 6, go through your bead right to left, pull those wires down and put them in the 2 E's. Fiddle this, and then complete your braid. And you can see how those are starting to line up there. You would keep going till, let's see, what did I do? So I braided, this is where your little tape measure comes in handy. So if I want a bracelet, I wanted a bracelet that was around 7 inches. So I braided with beads up to 5 3/4. So I would just take my tape measure, kind of slide it in there where my beads are ending, and pull it down to where the crimp is to get a measurement. And right now I'm at about 1.5 inches. So I would want this to be 5 1/4 inches. And at that point, I will stop adding my beads in the center, and I will just go back to the regular braid in the beginning where we did the 6. So then I would do 6 braids, just moving 5 to little e, 6 to capital E, and then completing the braid without putting any beads on. After you get 6 braids, then you can go ahead and take it off your Kumihimo plate, because at that point, your braided part from crimp to the end should be about 6 inches. Is that right? Yeah, should be about 6 inches total. And that gives you room for your crimping and your clasp at the end. Now, if you have a really tiny clasp, you might have to braid a little longer. If you have a larger clasp, you may have to braid a little shorter. So there'll be some variances there depending on your dimensions. So after you take it off the Kumihimo plate, you should have a nice braided end, and then all of the beads there, and then you gather all your wires just like you did in the beginning, string on another 3x3 crimp tube, and then crimp this at the end. I actually went a little long on mine, so I didn't get to do the nice double braid on each side because I got a little carried away with the length of my beaded portion. but that's okay. I mean, I just crimped it at the end here. Doesn't make a huge difference, but that's why I gave you those measurements if you do want to have a nice braided portion on each end. So at this point, I've got all of my wires crimped into 3x3mm crimp tubes on each end using the Mighty crimping pliers. And I'm gonna cut away all of the wires except for one. And I'm gonna use the one to connect to my clasp. So I usually like to find a wire that's kind of in the center. And then so this will be my wire I keep. And then using my flush cutters, I go down as close as I possibly can and I cut away all of these extra wires. So I just want to show you how you do the finishing connection. Elizabeth says, that's very pretty. Thank you. Are you guys interested in seeing all of my little examples that I did before I came to the final design? I have a bunch of, I don't know if I would call them mishaps, but I would have a bunch that just didn't work out. So they were part of my research and development. Lydia says, yes. Okay, cool. I will give you guys. I kept them all because I thought it might be interesting for you guys to see my my trials and tribulations. All right, so now I've gone through and I've cut away 9 of the wires. You know, I was thinking today, at this point, it would be nice to put on a little cone, like a baby cone. I might have to try and find some baby cones, because you could easily put a little baby cone here, and that would clean up this little area. You can also put on a crimp cover. You can also do some wire wrapping if you like to do wire wrapping and kind of wire wrap over this. You guys have seen me do that too. But really, I've always kind of just left it double crimped. This is one right here, and it's okay. But if you'd like a little more finish, those are a few options: putting on a cone, doing some little wrapping, or maybe even a crimp cover that will cover it. So now that I have one strand, I'm just gonna attach a clasp like you would, well, any other time. First, I'm gonna put on my 2x2 Softflex crimp tube. If you've never used Softflex crimp tubes, they are seamless and double the wall thickness of most on the market, making them very strong and secure. They're not gonna pop open. They're not gonna get crumble and crushed. They're really a great quality crimp. So I would give them a try. We love, 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 love our crimp tubes, and rightfully so. You need good crimps when you finish your projects. So now you'll see I just have the crimp tube and the wire went through the clasp, back through the crimp tube. And I'm gonna use my magical crimping pliers. You can also use regular crimping pliers, but I do love my magical. My magical has one little notch on both ends. You're going to place, Lydia says, I only use Softflex crimps. You know, they really make a difference. They really, really do. So you're gonna place your crimp tube right in the center of that notch. You're gonna give it a nice squeeze. It's gonna take your crimp and turn it into this little pinched corner square like a ravioli. Now we're going to turn it 90 degrees, put it back in, give it another squeeze, and then I'm just going to pump and spin about 6 times, and that turns my little tube into this adorable little 2mm bead. And then you can trim off your excess wire. And of course, I hold on to all these. If it's less than this size, this is probably about 3 inches long. But yeah, if I have little wires like this, I hold on to them and put them in a baggie because we can use them as little jump rings or connectors or all sorts of ways. So don't throw out your little scraps of wire unless they're really short, then I get it. But if they're about 3 inches or longer, you can use them. So you do the same thing on this side that I did on the other side. You would just cut all the wires away except for one, and then you can either attach it to a jump ring or a split ring if you'd like that, or you could just leave the little loop here and attach your claw clasp right into the soft flex loop. So that's another way for you to finish that design. I'll show you. So on this one, I had just done a toggle clasp on both ends. So you'll see I've got a 3mm crimp tube, then the little one, and that attached to one side of my toggle. And then same thing on this side, 3mm, 2x2mm, and attaches to the other side of your toggle. So that was our example that we've done before with beads down the sides. This is another example of beads down the sides. This one was a 2-hole bead that came down the side, so I was able to string some soft flex through the second hole that was sticking out. That's another option. And then this one is your beads down the center. So I'm going to show you guys some stuff when I tried to work on this. All right, so I started with these beads. I thought these clear beads would have been a really interesting size to go for this design, but as you can see, I just couldn't get them to lay straight enough, and so I wasn't happy. This was my first attempt at adding beads down the center, so I wasn't really happy with this attempt. So that was attempt number 1. Then I decided, well, maybe I want to do some really big beads. So I had these large crystals. Let me see if I can get this out of my bead stopper. Well, we'll just leave that piece attached. So I have these large crystals. So I tried those in the center. And this one wasn't like super terrible to me, but it wasn't quite the look I was going for. I do think that this could be okay. It definitely wouldn't be okay with multiple colors, but I do think it could be all right with one color, which is what I was trying here. If I gave it a little more time. Maybe there's more braids in between them. I don't know. So this was attempt number 2. So, and then I decided to go the other way and do a tiny little seed bead. I said, maybe I should just do a seed bead and see how that goes. And that is where I came up with this one, which is attempt number 3. And this one is the one I ended up sort of going, we just went with a little bit larger of a seed bead. But that, I was like, okay, now we're getting somewhere. I think with the thinness of soft flex wire, a smaller bead looks really nice. So this is done in the same way we did on the video, where we have a bead put on every time we do that braid. And this one, this little section here, is when I put on a bead and then I did a braid in between, and then I put on a bead and then I did a braid in between. So that's kind of fun too. But I thought that this would have been nice to show you guys first. So then after that trial, so that was number 3. Then after that trial, I grabbed some of my satin silver Softlex and I found these little cube beads. And this one is where I really just finally got it right. So this gives you an example of what it would look like with just one color. Obviously this is just the satin silver, so it's kind of like a gray color. And then here, it's got some braids in between, so I was testing that out again. Maybe we'll do that on a video, upcoming video. Personally, I felt like if you were doing multiple colors of wire, like I did here, it was nice to just have the beads on right next to each other on every strand. If I'm doing just one color of wire, I think it would be really nice to show some of that braid in the middle. And this is what, it's kind of hard to see. I didn't get a whole lot done yet, but these are the 2 colors together that we were just working on. So I'll post this one when I finish it in the Softlex VIB group. If you guys are in there, you'll see it. If you're not in there and you're on Facebook, you can join us. We are at Softlex VIB Studio, and it is a fun community group where we get to chat, we get to share ideas and inspiration. And yeah, Dale, there is, but it was actually, this one was published. So this one is in a Belle Armoire magazine. I don't remember what issue it was, but I can find that out and comment on here after the video. I'll take a look at my publications and see when it was. But it really is the same as this one that is on here on YouTube. The only difference is instead of a seed bead at the end, I did a super duo at the end, and then I strung in a Softlex wire to connect that super duo on both sides. So then you'll have 12 wires instead of 10 coming into your crimp at the end, because there's a wire on each end of Softlex, if that makes sense. So it's the same pattern as this, it's just using the super duos instead of seed beads. So that was all of my trials and tribulations getting this design up to where it was. I actually thought this would be really fun with like a metal bead and them running through the middle, and then I came across that I had these cute little seed bead cubes, so I went with those. But I think a nice small metal spacer bead would be really fun in the center there too. Let me flip you guys back up and say, oh, without, there we go. Let me show you too. Move all this stuff out of the way. So yeah, oh, we have a sale going on. I didn't even mention that. I meant to say it, that's why I have notes here. So we currently have a sale going on that ends tomorrow with the Kumihimo plate. If you buy a trios, so I use the Bloom on this one, and I use the Serenity on my example that I showed you guys that's almost completed. Those are the 2 trios I played with today. So if you buy any of our trios, they have to be the multicolor ones, but any of our multicolor trios, you just buy one, you'll get a free Kumihimo plate. Just will be automatically added to your cart. That is for all. If you were to buy 3 22 gauge craft wire in the silver plated colors, that is another way you can get a free Kumihimo board. So either buy a trios Softlex beading wire, or buy 3 22 gauge silver plated craft wire spools, and you will get a free Kumihimo plate with either of those. If you do both of it, you'll get 2 free Kumihimo plates. So the more the merrier. You can have one Kumihimo project going, and if you've got another plate, you can have multiple Kumihimo projects going. So you might as well take advantage of both. If you guys caught James's video on Thursday here on our YouTube channel, he used the craft wire to create a Kumihimo ring, and it was really, really cool. So if you get the craft wire and you get trios, you will get 2 plates, and you can try both of those types of projects that you see on our YouTube channel here. So that's pretty fun. And yeah, so if you like us and subscribe us, that's always really helpful for our channel. Give us a thumbs up, give us a heart, and subscribe to our page here on YouTube, and you will have updates on when I'm live, and you'll also know when we put all of our other videos up. We are very active on Facebook. Sarah does a lot of Facebook videos, and then we also move them over here to our YouTube channel. If you are not a Facebook member, you can catch them here on YouTube. So that's a lot of fun. And again, if you are on Facebook, if you do like Facebook, we have the VIB Studio Group, which is a great community of beaders. We share designs, share inspiration. We have a monthly challenge in there with a giveaway based around our kit that we do each month. So that's a lot of fun. Upcoming videos. Let me just give you guys a quick rundown of what's coming up. So this week on March 13th, we have a jewelry making live video on Facebook with Sarah Ayler at 1 p.m. It's live, so she'll be there at 1 p.m. Pacific time on our Softflex Company Facebook page. I'll be here again next Monday. So that's March 18th for another Free Spirit Beading episode, and that'll be 11 a.m. Pacific time. And then we have a sale, a live sale on March 20th. We've got a Softflex live Facebook sale at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And lastly, March 21st is a new episode of Conversations in Wire with James Browning. And that will just be posted here on YouTube. There's no set time because it's not live. It'll just get posted here on the 21st. If you want to stay in the loop with us, you can join our email. That is, if you go to our website, www.softflexcompany.com, scroll down to the bottom, there is a spot to sign up for our emails. And with our emails, we send you our weekly sales, we send you new products about the kit, the challenges. We also do a Saturday inspiration email. So if you've missed any of our videos throughout the week or any of our blog posts, then we compile them all into our Saturday morning email. So you can catch up on Saturday mornings with us, anything that you missed for the week. So that's a lot of fun. And yeah. Thank you guys so much for being here with me today. It was great to show you a new project. It was great to expand my design skills a little bit in the last week and really work on getting that project just right for you. And I hope you'll give it a try. And I look forward to seeing you again next week. Have a great one. Happy Monday. Bye.